Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today in this video, I would like to presenting about my final year project research. Firstly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Shazrina Binti Azlind with metric number 253354 and my supervisor is Prof. Madya Dr. Muhammad Ghazali bin Hassan. My topic in this final year project research is about perception towards implementation UUM online learning among SML students, and I've only focused for final year students. Okay, this is my poster and I will presenting my content in slide. First of all, for my introduction, online learning is a term used to describe the acquisitions of knowledge through computer time and transformation in which both education and literacy. Like we know, e-learning or online learning is a new concept that implying learning the digital media, and this new technology uses this day in education. The emergence of new opens and mobile platform and web apps and number of opportunities have been opened up to facilitate teaching and learning process in a fully on-site and a blended environment. It also type of distance learning for any learning that takes place across distance and not in traditional classroom. It can used by student anywhere and everywhere because student can log in using laptop or smartphone. Online learning are growing very fast and many universities are supporting, including University Utara Malaysia. Okay, next we go to the problem statement. First, lack of firm framework to encourage student learn and absence of learning atmosphere in e-learning system. Technological barriers, especially among students, such as internet less of satisfaction, as well as personality barriers, which is the attitude of the students themselves, who are more likely to open non-e-learning sites, and other influences. For my research objective is to understand the attitude of perception toward implementation UUM online learning among SML students. Second, to understand the previous knowledge of perception towards implementation UUM online learning among SML students. Third, to measure ease of use perception towards implementation UUM online learning. And lastly, to measure usefulness of perception towards UUM online learning among SML students. I continue with my research methodology. I use primary data and secondary data. For my primary data, I use quantitative method and created survey. Total of questionnaire I collected is 185, and after run normality and delete the extreme data, so only have 180 data of respondent can use, and I distributing survey using Google Form through WhatsApp and email. After all this data collected, I use the analyze such as SPSS. While for the secondary data, I use newspaper, books, journal, and okay, this is my research framework, which is the independent variable have four. First is attitude, second is previous knowledge, third is ease of use, and the last one is usefulness. For the dependent variable is perceptions toward implementation UUM online learning among SML students. For the finding and analysis, firstly is demographic profile. In the demographic profile that have gender, race, program, age, and residential hall. In this study, there are 64% female and 33% male from 180 respondents. The range age the most is 22 to 24 years old, which is 96%, and 24 to 27 years old, 40%. All these students are from the field under SML from Bachelor of Technology Management, Bachelor of Operation Management, and lastly from Bachelor of Business and Administration, Logistics and Transportation. And they are from variety race, like the most is Malay and Chinese, Indian, and others. Next is reliability test. Reliability tests which less 0.60 are considered poor reliability, while above 0.60 and those on range of 0.70 considered acceptable, when over 0.80 considered have a good reliability. Based on my table, the value of chromatic alpha for the DV is 0.795, while for the IV, like attitude, is 0.784, previous knowledge is 0.601, is of use 0.48, and usefulness of 0.14. Next, we go to descriptive analysis. So here, like we can see, I have 4 variables. So based on this table, it given a ranking based on the mean score, which is from 1.0 to 1.49 indicates as unimportant, 1.5 to 2.49 less important, 2.50 to 3.49 is moderate important, 3.50 to 4.49 important, and lastly 4.5 to 5.0 indicates very important. So they are shown all the variables in my table indicate as a rank important with the mean from 4.0900 to 4.3153, which is the variable for attitude, previous knowledge, ease of use, and usefulness. From the sample that I follow the table of Craigie and Morgan, I must have 175 respondents. After collected data, I got 185 respondents, and after I do and delete extreme data, I got 180 respondents. Like we can see in this slide, for my box plot, after I record for my variable, which is the attitude, previous knowledge, ease of use, and usefulness, they did not have the extreme data anymore. While for the normality, we look at Shapiro rule. It shows normal value for independent variable for attitude, previous knowledge, ease of use, and usefulness. This is because the significant value is greater than 0.05 is acceptable. The multiple regression model is statistically significant where f equals 20.388, p squared equals 0.318, and the p-value is 0.000. This indicates 31.8% of perception towards implementation UM online learning among STML students can be explained by attitude, previous knowledge, ease of use, and usefulness. For multiple regression coefficient, determine that only usefulness is significant plus it less than 0.05, while attitude, previous knowledge, and ease of use of variables is not acceptable because the level of the significance too more than 0.05. So, in this study, only one variable was accepted. For the conclusion, from this study, we can conclude that using the UUM online learning has a positive effect on students and also well received and give benefit not only for students but also for lecturers. It also gives the positive view in perception towards implementation UUM online learning among STML students. If we can see in the descriptive analysis, it is shown the each of variables are important and strongly agreed by students. But after run various tests, especially normality test, it only one variable, which is its usefulness, influences and affect the hypothesis. But it's acceptable because we know this UM online learning is the best new technology to students in university and should do improvement day by day. So only that from me. For further information can direct contact me at the number listed. Thank you.